All right, everybody, this is an important video, arguably one of the most important ones that we've put out. I want you guys to share this one out with your friends, with your family, with your loved ones, anybody that you know, because this information is so important. It might just save someone's life. I've been hesitant to put a video like this out because I wanted to make sure I did enough research and had enough understanding before I started bringing information to you. But I have spoken to a few experts in breathing. I have looked at all of the research I could possibly find, which is very limited. And I've spoken to some friends who are on the front lines battling COVID-19 right now with the Department of Defense and researching ways that we can start to mitigate and get past this. So I feel comfortable sharing this stuff with you because I'm comfortable. This is what I'm doing myself. This is what I'm sharing with my family and my loved ones, and I want to get this information to you guys. What I'm going to start off with is a disclaimer that this is not a proven method to prevent or treat COVID-19. A lot of this stuff isn't proven. A lot of this is theory, and it's not designed to mitigate any of the other information that's out there. So just because you're following this protocol doesn't mean that you should be not social distancing or not listening to the World Health Organization. You need to be following all of those guidelines, but I believe that this information can actually help you and could potentially save some people's lives. So I want to get this stuff out there to you as soon as possible. So we're going to start off talking a little bit, and I'm going to go relatively quick because I only have 10 minutes to get you guys this information. It's super important. But we're going to start off talking a little bit about the nose. There's been some research looking at nitric oxide, and we know that COVID-19 is a respiratory disease. It causes respiratory issues, it causes pneumonia, it causes all of this stuff in the lungs. So because of that, we want to look at some other diseases that are similar. So there's not a lot of research on COVID-19, but we do have a study on SARS from 2005 that actually looks at some similar mechanisms here. And what they found in this study was that nitric oxide actually mitigated the replication of the virus. So what that means is that as this virus was trying to replicate, that the nitric oxide was stopping that. And why that's important is the nose actually produces nitric oxide. So when we breathe through the nose, we actually bring nitric oxide into the body. And there's a whole bunch of other benefits about nitric oxide, but it could potentially mitigate some of and they're actually looking at COVID-19 in a similar way right now. There's a study going on that's in like phase 2 of its trials, looking at a similar thing. So that could potentially prevent the replication of some of these cells. Now, the study was done in vitro, which means it wasn't in a human body, and it was not nasal nitric oxide that was being used. And this was on SARS. So this is a theory. This is not proven in evidence, but there's tons of other benefits to nasal breathing. So what I'm confident saying right now is you will not be worse off if you start breathing through the nose all the time, and it could potentially be your first line of defense. Also, the nose filters and cleans the air, which we also know, so that could potentially be another first line of defense. Very based in theory, very speculative, but it's not going to hurt you to start nasal breathing. You should be doing it all the time. Number 2, we also know that nasal nitric oxide increases through humming. So humming, especially on the exhales, increases nasal nitric oxide up to like 7 times. So what I want you guys to do, the take home for this part, breathe through the nose all the time. Start using some mouth tape at night so you breathe through your nose at night. And start implementing a nasal breathing practice, maybe 5 minutes in the morning, where you're humming on the exhale, long, slow humming exhale. Big full nasal inhale, and do that for about 5 minutes. Again, it could potentially help, but I do know that will have a whole bunch of other benefits for relaxation and for health and all that. So that's what I have currently on nasal nitric oxide and breathing related to COVID-19. More importantly though, a lot of people are going to get COVID-19. What we can do to be prepared for that is make sure that we have the strongest respiratory system possible, especially for older populations, people who are more at risk, people who are more at risk of having serious issues. This could be the difference between you having minimal symptoms at all or having very, very serious effects from this disease. So we need to strengthen the respiratory system and strengthen the respiratory muscles. I'm going to give you some stuff to do that right now. This is exactly what I'm doing every day. I'm doing it in the morning and at night, as well as random times throughout the day. I actually have this breathing trainer here. It's called a Breather Fit. I have no association with this company. I got it from a friend. Actually, a friend who's sending information on what they're doing at the front lines on COVID-19. And he recommended this thing for my friends, for my family, for everybody. He said this absolutely could be a lifesaver. So I've been doing it every morning and at night. It's a respiratory muscle trainer. There's other variations out there. This is like $50 online, but there's other ones out there that you can buy. So this is what I'm doing. I'm going to give you the one that you can do right now today that you don't need any tools for. All you're going to need is basic cheap stuff that you can buy or that you might have around the house. All right, so same exercises. We're just going to use the stuff that you can do at home. If you have one of these respiratory muscle trainers, you use it the exact same way that we're going to do in these exercises. So let's get on to strengthening the respiratory system. Before we get into this, super important that you have good breathing mechanics. If you don't, you need to go back and watch our videos on good breathing mechanics and develop that first. If you're breathing with poor mechanics and you're using accessory muscles, you are not going to strengthen your respiratory system the way we need it. You're going to build capacity on top of dysfunction. So that'd be like going into the gym and not knowing how to squat and then putting 300 pounds on the bar and trying to squat it. You need to learn how to do it first and do it well and build strength on the way up. So go back and watch. We're not going to spend the time talking about those mechanics here on this video because I've already got tons of content out. So for the sake of time, go back and watch those videos on belly breathing and on lateral rib breathing that we put out a whole series of them. You can see them here that we circled there for you so you can find those on our page. Okay, so we're going to start off by strengthening the exhale. Super important here. We need to be able to fully exhale before we can actually learn to fully inhale. So we're going to get down on our back in this 90-90 position where my knees and hips are bent. Put your feet up on the couch or on a bench or something. So we're in this 90-90 position. And we're going to use a balloon. This is actually a great exercise. It comes from PRI or a version of this. So we're going to use this balloon. We're going to put the balloon in our mouth. We're going to take a big full inhale through the nose into the belly and ribs. We're going to exhale as hard as we can into the balloon and fill up that balloon as much as you possibly can. Don't let your cheeks go out. No chipmunk cheeks as we push here. Make sure we're driving all from the belly. Fully exhale into the balloon. Inhale fully through the nose. Slow and fill the belly and ribs. Exhale fully into the balloon. Okay, we want to make sure as we're exhaling, the ribs are going down. So we should feel the ribs going down towards my hips as I'm exhaling fully. And then the ribs are expanding laterally as we inhale through the nose. So you're going to do that one for 5 reps, 3 sets of 5. I want you to do that one a couple times until you start to really feel like you have control of that. So maybe that's twice a day for the first week, and then you can build to the next exercise. Or maybe you want to jump to the next exercise right away. Feel free to adjust as needed. But you're trying to blow that balloon up as much as you can, making sure you get the big full exhale and get the ribs down. Same position, we're going to move on to the straw. So now with the straw, this is going to reduce the air going in and out. So therefore, it's going to be a lot harder and I'm going to get more work on the inhale and the exhale. Straw goes in your mouth, same exact protocol, but this time when we breathe in, I want you to breathe in through the mouth. Try to fill the belly and ribs as fast as you possibly can. Pull in as much air as you can, as fast as you can. Fill the belly and ribs. Make sure the neck and shoulders stay relaxed on the inhale. Pause just for a second and then fully exhale as hard as you possibly can as well through the straw. Again, blowing out as much air as fast as you can. All right, that's the second one. That's the one I want you to do. 5 reps, rest for a minute, repeat for 5 rounds. Okay, 5 reps, 5 rounds. You can do that in the morning and at night. That's what I'm doing. And I'm also doing it throughout the day. We're going to strengthen the respiratory muscles. Super, super important here. So that's what I want you to do. Then you can grab a breathing trainer if you want to. It'll just allow you to change the resistance. But that's the exercises for you guys to do. Hopefully this stuff will help you. Share it out with everybody you can. Make sure you have good mechanics. Make sure you get those reps in every single day so you can strengthen. And the last thing that I want you to do, try working out breathing through your nose only through all your workouts, because this is a natural resistance. So it's going to challenge your respiratory muscles if you only breathe through the nose, and that's just an extra benefit for developing strength in the respiratory muscles. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Share this out with everybody you know. Practice your exercises, and hopefully we can help some people out there to mitigate some of the risk of COVID-19.